My name is Ken Temborski. I'm from Aggressive Realty, and we're going to talk today about a numerous bunch of things. We're going to talk about listings, we're going to talk about selling, we're going to talk about what's on the market, what's hot, what's not, and I can't wait to sit down and talk about it. One of the things at Aggressive Realty, we have over 14 agents. This is a very busy time right now before school goes back. Everybody's moving around, everybody's trying to get their work done. Trying to move into their new houses, trying to buy houses. One of the things that is very important to buying a house is not a standard, easy thing. Basically, a realtor's involvement with you is very important. Sometimes you can buy a house and you don't use a realtor. The nice thing of a realtor is he keeps a timeline, keeps things rolling, keeps down the inspections. Basically, inspections are very important. You usually have a mold or basically a structure, you have a pest, you have a radon, you can have a water, you can have a sewage. As you go, you move on. And then basically we do what's called a reply to inspections when we get the inspections back. We sit down with you. Inspections are basically negotiable. You go back and forth, you come back and you look at the summary, you see what's wrong, you see the pictures, you go back to the seller and you sit down and you work it out with them. You make it work, they do their repairs, you do some repairs, it kind of works. Sometimes working together is a lot better from the very beginning. A realtor then takes it to the next step of doing the appraisal. The appraisal is what bank you use, and pre-approvals are very important. Basically, to put an offer in, you need a pre-approval. So I tell everybody, when you're looking to buy a house, basically go in and buy that house, go get a pre-approval. They're going to tell you what you can spend and what you can't spend. They're going to tell you the high and the low. They're going to tell you roughly your payments. Right now, our payments it's very crazy because our interest rates are touching 4.75, 4.85. Now, there are a bunch of different loans that you can get. Very important to contact that realtor. Sit down with that realtor and talk about the loans that are available before you just go out and do something. There are a USDA loan, which is in a rural area, which includes Cunningham and Sugarloaf and Drums and some parts of the outskirts like Pardisville and them areas, some areas of Mountaintop, out towards Bloomsburg. You'll see where you can get a USDA loan. With a USDA loan, as long as you have decent credit, meaning a 640 credit score or better, you can go out and get that loan. That loan sometimes can have no down payment, and again, I'll repeat, there's no down payment or no closing costs, depending on how you run the closing cost. Then you get into what's called PMI. PMI is private mortgage insurance. So you got to look at what's in your best interest. Do you pay mortgage insurance over the term of the loan? Or do you take it and you just make one payment towards your PMI? Very helpful. VA loan. A VA loan is very important. If you put military time in, you can get a VA loan, which is normally a little cheaper. Normally, there's no PMI. And at the same time, it's a very easier loan to get through. Sometimes you have a little bit more. It's in the same lines of an FHA. FHA loan, you need 3.5% down. You'll need PMI, and you go from there. I strongly suggest that you talk to your realtor. Get to your realtor, get a pre-approval done, find out what bank is doing the best financing right now. I deal with several different banks. I'm going to give you, every realtor can give you suggestions. They can't tell you what to do. They can't tell you where to go. A buyer has all of that to say. A buyer picks their place where they want. They pick their closing place. They pick everything that's going on. The buyer does that. Seller, I'm going to get into today a little bit on what their responsibilities are versus the buyer's responsibilities. I think it's so important to contact that realtor, start a relationship with them, get a pre-approval. As you get that pre-approval and you move on, you move into what you can afford. Never spend more than what you can afford. Never. You want to be able to still do the things you want to do as you get older. You want to be able to go on vacations with the kids. Don't cash strap your house. A house should work for you. You should not work for a house. In that sense of, if the bank tells you you're qualified up to $200,000, don't spend that. Spend something that you're comfortable in, your payments are comfortable, because you don't know what could happen down in the future. whether somebody gets hurt, whether somebody gets sick, whether something else comes up with your job and you got to transfer, you got to go someplace. Spend something that you can be comfortable at. You don't need to go out and compete. Don't forget, taxes are higher with what you buy. Whatever the assessed prices are, taxes are very high. So you're going to have to divide that by 12 in your payment. You're going to have to divide your homeowners into that. And you know what? Again, you don't want to build it. Just because you see a principal and interest payment, that doesn't mean what your total price of your house is going to be. Your escrow is going to be part of that, which is your taxes and your insurance, and then also your PMI insurance. And then we're going to get into a little bit more on what closing costs are. Closing costs could range anywhere from 5 to 6%. I'll get into a little bit of that today. Again, things are changing out in that field. The interest rates change consistently. I understand the Feds just said, even though mortgage applications were at their lowest this past month, interest rates still look like they're going to go up another quarter. I'll get into a little bit of that. I'll explain to you a little bit on the differences on what 0.25% does when you see that the Feds raise it, what it'll actually cost you based upon a 30-year amortization. Again, as time goes on here today, we're going to do 2 more things. I want you just to change. Don't be afraid to give me a call. I want to be able to answer your questions. You don't have to do anything special, but give me a call. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you want to look for. Let me know the area and what your needs are first. Then I can help you in any way. Or if it's just a question, all I want to know is give me the call, leave a message. I will get back to you. I'll answer your questions and we'll go from there. Welcome back to Aggressive Realty, the show from your local area. We're located in Cunningham. We cover the Hazleton area. We cover roughly a 25-mile radius of Hazleton. Your phone number to call us is 570-788-8500. We have approximately 14 agents that are willing and able to help you. They all work different shifts. Please give a call. Anything that you have that we can help you with. Aggressive Realty is expanding a little bit right now. Aggressive Realty will be in Bloomsburg very shortly. Address 157 Main Street, West Main Street. If you're familiar with where the fountain is in Bloomsburg, we'll be a block down on the right side. It's going to be Aggressive Realty also. There's a different market down there that we're looking at. We have approximately 23 apartments and 6 storefronts down there that we currently rent, college students. Aggressive Realty does a lot more than what people think. Aggressive Realty is into the rentals. We rent properties for people. Very important to rent properties for somebody because we do a different way. We go out, we advertise. We go out, we find a client. We go out and we run a criminal and a credit check on them. They actually pay for that credit check. They have to pay. We run a credit check on everybody that's going to be on the lease. Once we see the credit scores, we see the problems, we even do an eviction check. Once you get the client that is in a good shape and good standing, we come back to you and we sit down with you and we say, listen, we found this client. Here's what they have. They're looking for a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom apartment, and here's their information. At that point, you make the final decision. You make that final decision to accept them. Usually they pay first month, last month in security, or they pay a month of rent and security. At that point, we do the lease. We also offer what's called the property management. We go back and we collect the money each month. We send you the check. We also do any problems in the middle of the night, repairs, so forth. We have people that are bonded that do our work for. We give them a call, they go fix it. If it's over a certain limit, let's hypothetically say it's a refrigerator. Refrigerator runs anywhere from $350 to $650, depending on what's there. We basically go back and we'll say, if it's over $250 or $300, we have to call you to get that permission. But otherwise, in the middle of the night or the weekend, we take care of that. There's a small fee for that. We do it in-house. Aggressive Realty is much more than what you think. Again, We're very much into listing your home. We're very much into buying your home. We're very much into selling businesses, buying businesses. I just sold a very large electrical contracting business. We get into selling a lot of different things. Don't be afraid to call me, whether it's a warehouse, whether it's a business, whether it's almost anything. If you're renting a property, an apartment house, a hot thing right now in Hazleton is double homes. Double, half doubles, a very hot commodity right now. And what I'm talking about is price. Very high prices right now. Aggressive is going out and getting the higher prices. Very important. If you have a property that you're looking to sell, you want to call me. One of my agents, you got Paul, you got Jake, you got Lori, you got Amanda, you got April Lori, you got, I can go Mike, you got Carrie, you got another Carrie. We have multiple people waiting. We're open from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and Saturdays till 12. Give a call. Let us know what you're looking for or what you're looking to sell. If you have questions right now, what happens is normally if you're going to list a property, one of us will come out, it might be me, we'll come out, we'll look at the property, we take a walk through. It takes about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I get some outside measurements. I get inside measurements. I get an idea of the condition of the home, the amenities of the home, how many bedrooms, garages, bathrooms. I'll go back and I'll sit back and I'll look at the numbers and what's sold in a 6-month period in a 1-mile radius. Unfortunately, it doesn't help when you have a house down the street or up the street, across the street that's in rough condition, because people today want to come look first. They want to drive by the neighborhood. They want to see the area. When I come up with a price, it's called a CMA, Comparable Market Analysis. Based upon that, we take a look at it and we see what the market's doing in that area, in that zone, and everyone's different. I mean, you look at Pardisville, you look at Scotch Hill, you look at Latimer, you look at Cunningham, you look at Drums. Every area has a different kind of rate based upon what's sold in the past 6 months. So what we do is we take a look at that and we come back and we eye it up. And once we eye that up and we give you a number, I'll usually give you a number, a high and a low. At that point, you make a decision on if it fits what you're looking for. It's hardest in the world to sell your own home because you feel you put so much money in value. And some people put too much money into a home that they're not going to get back. And some people don't put enough in a home that they're not going to get, that they should get back. My job is to come in there, be constructive criticism. I don't like to use that word, but I'm going to tell you what you should do. Fix this, don't fix this. Like, I just went the other day and a lady said, well, I want to paint the whole house. Not a good idea. Why? It wasn't in desperate need of that. But the people today, generations change, different trends change. They come into a house, they might not want that color that you paint. Now, to paint a whole house inside by a professional, it touches $5,000. Why do that? Why add that to the expense when you're not going to get it back? My job is to relay that to you as you need. I will sit down with you and I'll go over some things. If I see it needs something, if I see it's 99% of loans are FHA, if it needs a handrail, if it needs, hypothetically, let's say it needs smoke alarms, which the city of Hazleton does a fantastic job. The Freeland does a fantastic job. Hazel Township does a fantastic job. You have to have smoke detectors. You have to have one in every bedroom. You have to have one in every floor, and you have to have a carbon monoxide detector. West Hazleton does a fantastic job. You even got a small extinguisher in the kitchens in most places. I'm going to go over some of that. I'm here to answer them questions because they're part of selling that home. They're part of you going out and getting the highest dollar for your house that you possibly can. That's my job. We get paid by commission, so you don't want to overprice a house, but you want to price a house where it should be because the appraisal's got to match that. When the appraisal matches that, then it's a go, and everybody's happy. I'll give you the analyzation that I have, and I'll be back to you very shortly. We have one more segment, And we're going to talk about some other things. I like to talk about pre-approvals. Thank you. Welcome back to Aggressive Realty. Again, we're located at 635 Route 93 in Cunningham, right there down across from the Turkey Hill. One of the things that I'm here today to talk about is I could have brought it, I'm bringing a bank next time with me. We're going to talk about in depth of borrowing, but right now I'm going to talk about basically how easy it is to buy a house. Buying a house is not a hard way to buy. A lot of people get scared. There's nothing to be scared about. Very important to pick a realtor that you can work with. Pick a realtor that you can feel comfortable with. Again, always best to make a phone call. Tell them what you're looking at. That's their job to go out to find something that works for you. I sit back a lot of times. I'm going to give you an example. I have somebody call me yesterday. Very important. You got to know, people don't realize there's flood insurance that is mandatory. Flood insurance is very expensive, very expensive. So a lot of times you got to take a look at that. You got to make sure that fits into your budget. It's just like homeowners insurance, but there's also flood insurance required by the bank. Banks wise, I mean, there are many banks out there. I suggest FNCB Bank right here on Broad Street in Hazleton. You can contact Victoria or Lewis or any of them. You got First Columbia Bank over there. Lance Deal, great guy, CEO of the bank. You got multiple people here, I mean, that can help you. BBT, you got Landmark. There's other banks that you can use. It's best to use a bank. You got, there's just so many good places. Another place I use a lot we recommend is Covenant Abstract. Covenant Abstract is an abstract company located up here on Broad Street. They are probably very efficient. I know they are. They're very efficient. They do their work. They're very courteous. They have great staff. When you get in there and you want somebody, you want no problems. You want nobody, you want somebody to handle all of the roadblocks. As this progresses and you run into little glitches and problems, it's going to happen. That's why, I ended the last segment with the analyzation of what it is like. A realtor and you is like getting together, getting married. Once you do that contract and you get the contract, at the closing you get divorced or separated. At that point, it's supposed to be the happiest moment of your life that you and your spouse, you or your partner enjoy your life. It's your home. Very important. Again, I'll get into some of the things of people asking. People ask me about areas. I'll give you an example. Chapel Hill up here by Community Park. You got to look at sometimes homeowners associations. You got to look at HOAs. HOA is where basically there's an association that up at Community Park there, they cut your grass. They shovel your snow. When you want to downsize, you call us. We'll find you something that's much smaller that works for you. If you downsize, you go into something like that, maybe you're at the point where you don't want to cut grass. You don't want to shovel the snow. You want that garage to pull in and out and have it taken care of for you. That's what we're here to do. Again, we cover a 25-mile radius. If you have a college student that's going to college and needs an apartment down in the Bloomsburg area, call us. If you're looking for a business, you're looking for a warehouse, you're looking for a trucking terminal, you're looking for call us. They're all so important. But very important to sit down and when you have a question, I really don't care if it has to do with business right now. You call my office, 788-8500. We're here to help you. We will walk you through the process. A lot of times there's a repair that's needed. We'll help you with that. When you get into closing costs, a buyer is responsible for title insurance. Very important, 1% to the state. It's 2%, it's split. 1% each, buyer and seller. Could be fees from the bank. There could be points from the bank. There's different things. You have to pay, usually on an FHA loan, which 99% are, you have to pay your escrow, but you have to pay ahead. You got to pay 1 year of insurance, 1 year in taxes ahead. That goes in your escrow, so it's always a year ahead it's paid. It's very important to know all of this up front. That's my job. My job is to help you through the process. And again, a house should work for you. You shouldn't work for a house. So when you sit down and you get that number, find somebody. A seller is responsible. If you're selling your home, you're responsible for the deed. That's the new deed from it. If you look at your current deed, it's from somebody to you. Now it's from you to somebody. So you're responsible for that. That runs anywhere from $150 to $200. Okay? Then you're responsible for your 1%. That's it. Your 1% of what your selling price of the house is. That goes in. And then basically you're responsible, the seller's responsible for the commission. Depending on your rates, again, that's the job paid at the end. A realtor's not paid until that deal closes. If it doesn't close, he doesn't get paid. Sometimes, the average right now to close a house is 45 days. People don't realize that. 45 days is a pretty long time. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. You know, the buyer has an appraisal fee they got to pay. Usually that's up front. They got to go in. I don't let that happen until we do the inspections, which the inspections are there. The inspections cost about $425 to $450. Then we'll go spend the money to do the appraisal. I don't spend your money unless I would spend my money. I do it in steps so that it makes it easy. I want you to be comfortable. I want you to be able to buy that house and have the best feeling in the world. Maybe it's the rest of your life feeling. Maybe it's not. You know, it's funny, you go through this and I talk to people every day. I'm on the phone consistently every day. We do work 24 hours most of the time. You get calls. You got great companies out there. You know, there's a McGuire, there's Benjamin, great company. You got to get along with everybody. You got some of the best realtors in this area, and you got to use them. Please, don't hesitate. Give me a call. If you have a question, if you're thinking of selling your house, call me. If you have a question about your house, call me. If you're looking for a business, call me. Whatever you need, you don't have to do business. And if you did business with me, you still can call me anytime. I'm fine answering all your questions. Sometimes you might think it's not an important question, but it is. I am Ken Temborski from Aggressive Realty. We're located at 635 State Route 93 in Cunningham. We cover a 25-mile radius. We are opening a location right now in Bloomsburg, Columbia County. We're a member of all three boards, Schuylkill, Luzerne, and Columbia County Board. I'm Ken Temborski. Don't hesitate, call us, aggressiverealty.com. Look at our houses online. Let me put yours online. Give me a call. Thank you, and I appreciate you, everybody, including every municipality that helps and works with us. Thank you.